New Year again. Thanks for coming back to the channel. This is going to be a little different subject. For those of you that have been following my channel for a while, part of the content is about prepping, but it's practical prepping. So if you are the type of person that feels they want to go out and do bushcrafting and staying out in the woods and making a mansion out of a bunch of fallen trees, this channel isn't for you, and I'm not going to be covering that. The focus also is on an urban environment, urban, small place like apartment, condo kind of environment. So if you live in a 10,000 square foot house and you have your own armed guards, all that kind of silliness, this isn't going to be for you. So it's for most normal people. So there are four things to consider when talking about being a prepper or being prepared in general, and they are the secrets to being successful in that. The first is, and the most important, is your mindset and attitude about that idea and yourself. Prepping is not easy, but it's not hard. It's just work. And there are a lot of people that don't want to do work. They don't want to do work. They want things to be brought to them. They want to be taken care of. And they don't have this sense of personal responsibility. You have to have a sense that you and only you are responsible for yourself. Second, that you are responsible for the consequences, plus or minus, of any decisions or actions that you make or take. You. Now, that doesn't mean that shit doesn't happen. It doesn't mean that bad things can happen to people that have nothing to do with them. I make the exception of those people that choose to continue to live in a fire zone or a flood zone or a hurricane zone. They continue to do that and then whine and cry about having to deal with the aftermath. To them, I say you are dealing with the consequences of your decision to continue to live in a place where humans probably shouldn't live on a day-to-day basis, right? It's that kind of thing. Well, I have to continue to have equipment and supplies, and I have to worry about those things. And yes, you do. But the first part is your mindset. You must accept the fact that it is your responsibility for your own well-being. Gee, I have diabetes type 2. Well, sucks to be you. Go back and think about what you were doing to get you to the diabetes type 2 in the first place. Shame on you. Well, I'm an alcoholic. I don't even want to hear that. I'm addicted to drugs. I don't want to hear that either. Frankly, I think that the worst thing that happened to addicts is Norcan. But that's a subject for another video. So mindset and attitude about your own personal responsibility is a big deal. The second is accepting the idea that you must maintain continual situational awareness. Now, for those of you that have been in firearms training world, you think, what's around me, what's the threat? Situational awareness is being aware of all of the things that affect you on a day-to-day basis, from yourself to the small space that you move around inside wherever you live, to the transitional spaces that from where you live to where you're going, and then the spaces that you're going to be in at your destination, whatever that is. You must be aware of what is happening. An example would be just when you're driving. How many people get out on the interstate, hit that speed control, or not, and they just zone out. Or they're listening to music and they're rocking to the music, which is okay. But at 70 miles an hour, there's other things to pay attention to. If you live in a place that has livestock or wild animals that might cross the road, hitting something at 70 miles an hour can ruin your whole day. Are you paying attention so that doesn't happen? Me, personally, I have chosen never to drive in the mountains at night because there are stupid people on mountain roads and there are critters that are faster than I am that can jump right out in front of you. And I just don't want to ruin my car. I just don't want to ruin my car and have my insurance go up. And by the way, I live in a state that is open range. Now, for you city folks, what open range means is if you hit somebody's cow, you just bought that cow. You bought the cow. Yeah. Write the check for 4 grand and then deal with your insurance company. You may or may not be allowed to harvest the cow, but you own the cow. That's open range. So situational awareness are things that you pay attention to all the time, except when you're sleeping. Except when you're sleeping. Um, that's just a thing you have to accept. So mindset and attitude and situational awareness. The next is to understand, based on those two things, what kind of resources do you have that allow you to deal with your environment, and what kind of resources do you need? Now, everybody talks about the basics, right? Food, shelter, water, so forth. But you could go down the list and say, what about first aid, medical supplies? What about uh, uh, personal hygiene, and so forth? So if you think about the notion of you're going to take a trip and you have to be able to sustain yourself where you're going to be. It doesn't matter if that trip is on vacation or in a shelter because a hurricane or something went by. But you're not going to be in your house, but you're going to be someplace else, and you have to take care of yourself there. They may or may not have food. They may or may not allow you to cook where you are or where you will be. Um, and there's flameless cooking, and then there's cooking with a flame. So you have to decide about that. Um, th- those resources that you need uh, may or may not be enough for you. Gas for your car. Hmm. The fourth level is one that people try to focus on, and that is the skills. Do you have the skills to deal with the resources, to either deal with them if you have them, or go get them for yourself? Those are the skills. Now, if you're in an urban area, it might sound kind of funny, right? But do you know where the food banks are if you have to do that? If tomorrow you found yourself homeless, you lost your job, whatever, do you know where those places are? Do you know what the process is to be accepted into a shelter? Do you know what the process is to get food from a food bank? I used to support a food bank, and at least the one that I worked with, you got a lot of food. Yeah, you got a lot of food, but you could only go there once every 30 days as a family. So where are the other food banks? That's just an idea. Um, if you have special needs for your tech, right, computer, right, what happens if the grid goes down? Do you have something that can continue to maintain your tech, and that's your comms and your computer, if the grid goes down? And do you know how to use it? Now, an interesting part here, especially in you apartment dwellers like me, uh, I don't know my neighbors, and my neighbors don't know me, but I can tell you that if it gets real nasty, there are some things that I won't be able to do by myself. Who are those people that have medical skills? Are there any around me? I have no idea. I do know that there are two hospitals down the road, meaning like 2 blocks, and they're big. And I could go, okay, but they may or may not be functioning. What if I have to move from where I am to someplace else? Um, you know, is there somebody there that has medical skills if I end up needing them? Now, I've been trained in trauma care, so I can take care, as long as I'm conscious, I can take care of myself for a lot of things. But there was one instance that was recent where I could not do that, and I had to take myself to the emergency room. So you understand what I'm saying? There are some things that you personally cannot do, and you will need help. Um, I reload ammo. I reload ammo. Um, that helps a lot, right? As long as I have the pieces and parts necessary to make the amount of ammo that I think I'm going to need. But where would I get those? Well, how do I go about resupply? Water, no problem. Food. I have 3 months, and I live in a small apartment. 3 months worth of food, and I know how to deal with it because I don't cook. So if you know what I'm saying, the skills. I'm not talking about bushcraft skills. I'm talking about other skills. I'm dangered up all the time. I carry a firearm. I'm well trained with that, long gun and short gun. So uh, that part I'm good with. I can get combat effective hits in urban combat ranges. What is an urban combat range? Urban combat range is 150 yards or less. So for you precision rifle people that think you want to be the next sniper in the world, you don't need all that. And any firearm you can buy, and in some cases, a pistol, like the Ruger 5.7 or the FN 5.7, you can address targets out to 50 yards and make combat effective hits. So the idea is in your environment, in your environment, are you able to use skills out that way? So I want to summarize because I could go on about the other kind of skills you need. If you think of some things that would be helpful to the community that comes to this channel in the area of mindset and attitude, situational awareness, resources, determining the resources that you need, and the skills to use those resources, help a brother out and put him down in the comment section. So with that, I want to thank everyone. Happy New Year again. Thanks for coming back to the channel.